Hey guys, so we had a little trouble in the last video in our register resolver, and that was with the ID. So I had to actually explicitly assign a UUID to the user. And I think what the problem with that is our database. It worked fine when we ran tests. It was just when we ran it ourselves regularly, we had problems. So what I'm going to do is just drop the database and restart it. So to do this, I'm first going to, we don't need this anymore. And then to test this out, I'm going to basically create another user, and I don't want to send them an email, so I'm just going to go ahead and comment out the whole bit where we send an email. And we're also going to have to comment out these guys and these two up here because we're no longer going to be using them. And then also that. And I think that gets rid of all the green in this file. And then the other thing is in our orm config, I'm going to just copy the drop schema from our test and move it up here and run this once. So now hopefully when we start this up, our database is going to drop its schema, restart it, and we should automatically create that UUID now. Alright, so it's up and running. You can refresh this. And we'll try registering this. So this guy is no longer in our database, so I can re-register him. And awesome, so it registers just fine now that we're not creating the ID. So that's all we need to do is synchronize that. So I'm going to stop the server, and I'm also going to remove drop schema because we don't need to drop it every single time. And what we're going to work on next is logging in. So I'm going to create a new folder under modules called login. And first thing I'm going to do is create a schema.graphql file. And we'll paste it in. And I just copied what we have for register. I'm going to go ahead and I guess keep like just this dummy query for now. We're going to need, hopefully this error gets resolved. I haven't checked the issue yet, but we'll leave it for now and we'll see. And so the mutation is going to be login. And to log in, we're going to take an email and a password and then return some number of errors depending on how it goes. So that's perfect. We can copy resolvers as well, paste it in here. And we don't need a schema per se. And error messages, we don't have anything from there. We can actually get rid of a lot of this stuff, at least right now. We do need an entity, we do need a resolver map, we don't need yep. Okay, so we're going to keep this, and I'm going to call this login. And then you'll notice we have some arguments here. So all I need to do is, to get the TypeScript types for that, is to run yarn gen schema types. And now we should have some types for logging in. And, oh, cannot find module, error modules. I think what it was, where is this coming from? Login resolver. Okay, so it actually is reading our code here, so we should actually get the errors to go away first. So let's remove all this stuff. There we go. And I guess I'll just say we'll return null for now. And I'm going to go ahead and generate the schema types now. Oh, it's not going to like it. Okay, so I guess tslint is blocking this. I guess I'll comment out all these things. We'll let this run and then we'll restart it. Basically, it's compiling the whole project to run this. That's why it's having a problem. Query.by defined resolvers, but not in schema. Oh, there should be by too. Because we already have a single by. There we go. And there we go. Finally got it to work. So we can uncomment this now. And so I'm going to get GQL, login, and really what I should have done is maybe run the resolvers first, or the types first. So why is it, oh, we need a comma here. So here we're going to do login, login, and it can't find it. There we go. And don't need anything from our context. So first thing that we're going to do, and actually we can grab the username. And by username, we don't have one, we just have an email. And grab a password. Alright. So first things first, we're going to try to find the user given the email that they pass in. So we're going to say const user is equal to user.find. And we're just looking for a single one. And where the email is equal to the email. So here we can then check if we get a single user. So if user, really we should be checking if not a user, then we just return an array and we have a single error here. And there's a special way I like to do errors with logging in. So here really the problem is we couldn't find a user. So for example, I could say the path is email and the message is could not find user. But I don't like sending messages back like oops like this, because this gives, while it helps users, it also helps people that are trying to do malicious things with your code. So they can actually tell if anyone is in your database by checking this, right? So if we return this back, we know the person using our website knows that user does not exist in our database. But if they get a different error, they know it at least exists in the database, so they can use this to figure out whether the email is wrong or the password, and it makes it easier to hack. So what I like to do instead is just say invalid login. So super generic, and I return the same error message whether they have a wrong password or wrong email, any of that. So I'm going to create a error messages.ts, export invalid login, const, and we're just going to say invalid login. So we'll use that here, valid login. Okay, so assuming we have found a user, we then want to check and make sure they gave us the right password for this current user. And to do this, there's a function from bcrypt, because this user's hash path, so user.password is hashed, but this password is plain text, so we can't just do that, right? We have to hash this password and compare. So bcrypt gives us a function for this, bcrypt.compare, and let's see, so first thing is the plain text string, so that's password. Second one is the hash, so the hash is user.password. And it's going to tell us whether it returns a promise and then a boolean. So the boolean is true or false, whether it's valid. So I'm going to say const valid is equal to await. And what doesn't it like? Password? Oh, we just need to await when we find a single user. And here I'm going to say if not valid, and we're just going to return the same thing. And maybe what I do is up here say const error response, because we're going to do the same error response for these. Oops, I want to be consistent. And then I'll just return error response and error response here as well. So now whether they have couldn't find the user or whether they give us a bad password, same error. If they make it past both of these checks, that means they exist in our database, they gave us the right password, so we trust them to be the correct user. And so we're going to go ahead and return, and we will return null because they are no errors. And that's what we basically our contract or signature. We return null if it's successful. Okay, so I want to test this now, and ideally also, and what we're going to do next video is make a session and a cookie for them, but we'll be handling that next video. What I want to do is test the logic for logging in, and oh, this reminds me, there's one other thing I want to do. So even though we found a user, I need to make sure they have confirmed their email, so user.confirmed. So if they have not confirmed their email, I'm going to tell them. And this is okay to send them a message back for. So this one I actually like to say message and please confirm your email. So export const confirm email error. So like, please confirm your email. Please email confirmation. What did I call it? Confirm email error. Confirm email error. There we go. And I actually just imported the wrong thing. There we go. And the reason why I like to give them a message here is they might not know that they needed to confirm their email before logging in. So this is just to be, cause less friction than the user forgets or whatnot. And I don't think this gives away too much information either. It does a little bit because they at least know it's a database, but we'll be handling rate limiting also so that we don't get too many login attempts. Alright, so I'm happy with this. Let's write a test. So login.test.ts, and here we're going to test and test login, and this is going to be async, and we're just really going to have one test here, and we're going to have a few different queries. I want to go ahead and basically register a user, try logging in, and then if I can't, it should tell me I haven't confirmed that user, which is perfect. I guess let's actually do a describe because there's a couple different things I want to test out. So describe, test, we should just call it login because we know it's a test. I guess the first thing we can do is something really simple and just make sure we can test whether a user gives us invalid login when we passed in a bad email. So let's go ahead and build the query, and we're going to do it the same way we did for register test, where we use GraphQL request. So we'll paste that, and then also we're going to go ahead and do the same thing where we build out a mutation. Oops. Okay, so we have this for email and password. We can use this for our register mutation because we're actually going to be registering the user later. This is going to be a login mutation, and it actually has the same exact structure except it's login instead of register here. Okay, so we're going to say const response is equal to await request, and we're going to say process.inf.testHost as string, and then here we're going to pass in our query, which is just a login mutation, and email is going to be junk, right? Well, you know what, why don't we do bob@bob.com. So it's a valid email, it just is not in our database, and we're going to do whatever is the password. Oops. So what we expect to get back from this, so expect response to be, or to equal. So it should actually return login, and it should be an array. Path is going to be email, and the message, so we expect to get an error back. And the error we expect to get back is invalid login. Alright, I'm going to comment this out because I want to run this test and see if it works. So here what we're testing is bad email, or email not found, sends back error. So yarn test. And the next thing we can test is to make sure the confirmation, and then we can also test bad password as well. Okay, so cool, test passed. So next test is going to be email not confirmed. And we'll say, yeah, that's fine. Oops, it's test, not text. Async Okay, so the first thing here is we're actually going to create a legit user in our database. So we can copy the response. So this will create a good user, and I'm going to use register mutation. Wait, what did I call it? Oh, I commented it out. And let's use that email and that password. Alright, so when we first register a user, they're not going to be confirmed. So the next thing that we want to check is to make sure it does not let us log in. So I'm basically going to run this exact same code right here, I guess. So we can copy it, paste it here. The only difference is the response 2 is we have a different login for email and password here. So maybe I can just create this in its own little function, say const login email, we'll call it emp string, and we'll just put this here, and we'll make this async. So then our test, we're just going to call await login, and we'll pass in these two parameters, and we'll pass EP here. Alright, so now I can call this same code right here, login with email and password. So I guess we should say login, I should refactor this. So login expect error. Oh wow, I'm actually a noob. So I guess we'll do this next time. We'll still use this function, but in this case we're actually expecting a different error message. I guess what we could also say as a third parameter, error message. So error message. So the error message we expect here is invalid login. Yeah, that works nicely. And the error message we expect here is going to be confirm email error. Alright. And I guess we don't really care about the response from register, so I can just do that. Alright, so we're going to expect the login to fail, and we expect to get an error about it not being confirmed. Next thing, I'm going to actually update this user. So user.update, and I just need to also auto import update. We're going to say where by the email, and then here we're going to set the confirmed to true. And what doesn't it like? I guess, is it a where by default? There we go. I guess it's just, I don't know if the second parameter or the first parameter is supposed to be where. Let's peek the definition. Alright, so update, does it tell us? So T extends base entity. Second is, okay, so this second key is the criteria, which, does it accept a where? Doesn't look like it. I think I did it backwards. So here the first parameter is what we want to pass confirmed, or what we want to update. So confirmed is true. Second is what we want to search by. And I'm going to try putting where and see if it wants me to do where. It does not. I might have this backwards again too. We'll just try it and see what happens. Other thing, we're doing a typeform right here, so we have to go ahead and do a before all and create typeform connection. And I thought I also closed the connection. I guess that was in this test over here. guess it was a different test. For some reason, I thought I actually closed the test or the connection to Typeform, but I guess it was the other thing that was causing the error before. We'll see what happens though. Alright, so at the very top, we'll paste this in. We'll need to import it. And okay, so I kind of want to give it a run and just see what happens. Okay, so it already passes, perfect. And then next thing we're going to do is give it a bad password. Oops. So I'm going to try logging in again. But the password is going to be like a bad password. And we're going to expect a invalid login. And then after this, so I guess save that, see if it runs. Alright, so we still need to confirm our email. That means this update did not work. So let's switch these, because I guess I had it right before. So confirmed is true. There we go. And then lastly, this is the last thing I want to do, at least for right now, is to check and make sure we successfully log in. So no error. I guess we could put I guess we just do the whole login process again. So we can copy. So here I'm going to put login mutation, which is going to be email, password, and we expect response.to be null. Oh, I guess actually we don't expect it to be null. We expect it to be an object that says register, which is null, and I mean login. Alright, so let's see if that worked. Perfect. So we passed all our tests, and we set up our login function. What we'll do next video is take our login function, and when they successfully log in, send them back a cookie. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.